Welcome to another episode of the RankEmPodcast. I'm Garrett Seawright, joined alongside with our normal co-host, Don Garwood. He is along live with us today.
And in person.
And joining us again for the second time on the RankEmPodcast. It's my little brother. His name is Zach. Zach, say hi to everybody.
Hi, everybody.
I guess I didn't literally mean say hi to everybody, but all right.
I mean, I could go with, like, classic TV trope of, hi, Mom.
That works, too. And so you can find me on Twitter, at Garrett Seawright. Don is at Donnie_G. And you can find us on Twitter, the podcast, as well as at RankEmPodcast on Twitter, on Facebook, on YouTube. And we're available on all of the major streaming podcast platforms. So wherever you find your podcasts, give us a download, give us a like, a subscribe, all of those good things, and join us. We're going to start posting podcasts once a week or so. Maybe if we get feeling antsy in our pantsy, we'll get more than one or two a week. So the last time Zach was with us was the very first episode. We ranked our top 5 favorite Little Debbies, and there are questions from our audience about some very specific things Zach thought or did with his Little Debbies. That sounds dirtier than I wanted it to. Things Zach did with his Little Debbies. But if you remember back to that first episode, Zach really was fond of nutty bars and regaled us with the tales. Zach, why don't you tell us how you consume nutty bars?
Okay, so there was a divide in the room between just mowing down on them or peeling them apart and enjoying the layers, and if you break them off, you ruin the whole thing. To which I interjected that I just eat them 2 at a time. Because they come in a twin pack. If you should be anything, it should be efficient. So
your body runs on efficiency.
You're darn right it does.
And
so I am the peak of physical fitness that one man could aspire to.
Adonis reincarnate.
Exactly.
Yes, for the record, we're all quite portly gentlemen. Don less than Zach and I. Not by
way
much,
less than Zach.
But Don is very clearly not eating nutty bars 2 at a time.
Right. And that really brings the first question.
Okay.
How do you eat them 2 at a time? As you slip off the wrapper, are you sliding it into your mouth? Like, are you side-by-siding these things, or do you collapse them and you're taking them both on top super thick?
I go too wide.
The dirtiest sentence in the history of this podcast.
That's pretty bad. No, I go too wide. I just kind of peel the wrapper and just kind of
horizontal.
Yeah. They are too wide. It's like they're at Daytona. Like they're trying to cross the finish line at the same time. They're going too wide.
And you're not letting any slide up into that wall.
Nope.
Alrighty. Cosmic brownies are the next question.
Okay.
How do you eat those that's going to disturb our audience? Do you just take a bite through the middle? Do you shove that whole thing in your mouth at one time?
I mean, like, I don't put it on my tongue like it's a communion wafer or anything, but, like, I don't know. I just, you unwrap it. It's probably 3 inches long by 1.5 inches wide. I go 1.5 inches wide and...
Like, just right in the middle down that crack?
No.
Do you break it in half?
Not typically, no.
So do you eat one brownie, then the other brownie, or do you bite right in the middle of the brownie? These are the pressing questions that need to be answered. You did a terrible job your first try. Give it another one.
Okay, so take your cell phone, for example, okay? So for our iPhone users, your home button's down in the bottom middle of your screen.
How the hell did you just compare a cosmic brownie to an iPhone?
It's probably the same shape.
Do you break it in half, or do you eat the whole thing at once?
I eat the whole thing.
Okay.
I eat the whole thing at once.
I've got my cell phone in front of my face.
Okay, so how you're holding it. So, like, you have your home button in the middle of the bottom of the screen.
Yep, sure do.
Imagine that as the same shape dimensionally as a cosmic brownie.
Got it.
Home button in first, start eating.
Lengthwise.
Yes, lengthwise.
Okay. Whew. We didn't have to do the whole phone comparison, but I'm glad we got to the bottom of it.
Well, I feel that like that
So
would.
you eat a cosmic brownie like a normal human being.
Yes,
Except you don't break it in half and you don't press the sparkles down.
correct.
Okay, the press the sparkles thing, I think, is just a you and our friend Reese,
In college.
and who doesn't eat cosmic brownies anymore. I think that's just a you thing, Don.
And
Give it a chance.
Any other Little Debbie questions for me, Don?
Those are the Little Debbie related questions that I had, other than fudge rounds are trash.
Okay,
That's
you're wrong.
That's not a question.
That's not a question.
I know
wrong.
I had them 5, but I've had a fudge round since then. Whew.
And you realize they're number one.
And
pick,
I
clearly.
realized they probably wouldn't be
Clearly.
in my top 5 or make honorable mention.
I don't know if you
I
can
have been
fire
swayed.
him, but
So that's a recap of our Little Debbie's. If you haven't heard it, scroll all the way to the bottom. It's the very first RankEmPodcast we did. So I'm Garrett C. Wright, joined with my little brother Zach and Don Garwood. So this week on the RankEmPodcast, we are going to rank our top 5 favorite Nickelodeon cartoons from when we were kids. So the qualifications basically were that they had to have started in the 1990s. Didn't have to be like fully encapsulated in the 1990s, but they had to start in the 1990s. I think all 3 of us enjoy the Fairly Odd Parents, but it started in 2001. So that does not count in our... Basically, it's 90s Nickelodeon cartoons is what we are ranking this week. So again, joining me is Don Garwood. You can find him at Donnie_G on Twitter. My younger brother, Zach, don't look for him on Twitter. And I am Garrett C. Wright, at Garrett C. Wright on Twitter. Zach, go ahead and give us your number 5 90s Nickelodeon cartoon.
my number 5 pick for 90s NickToons was Cat Dog. I'm getting some shady looks.
No,
I
so
love Cat Dog.
see, I hate Cat Dog, and the absolute only reason that I hate Cat Dog is because you liked it. When I wanted to watch anything, it just was always in the way. Like I wanted to watch anything, and our mom would be like, "It's Zach's turn to watch what he wants." And like, "Well, I want to watch Cat Dog." Like, no, this is stupid.
This is a whole dynamic that I didn't even think of, where you two were fighting over a TV.
At the oldest, I was 9 years old in the 90s.
Right.
So not the most, believe it or not, even at 30, the most emotionally mature person to ever live. But the only reason I hate Cat Dog, I haven't even ever given it a chance because you liked it.
All right. Well, I mean, I just I loved the characters. I mean, obviously,
Both cat and dog.
both cat and dog. They were quality characters. But like the little blue thing that lived with them, I don't know what species of animal he was, but I know his name was Winslow.
See,
he was wearing green plaid overalls, and he just roasted the heck out of Cat Dog.
See,
He was the... Okay.
I think he was a mouse, is what he was supposed to
and he lived
be.
in their walls.
Yes, he lived in their walls.
I use him on Twitter. There's a 3-picture segment of him walking into the room and then immediately turning back around. So you screenshot, whatever makes you want to, and I'll, this is great radio. I'll show you on my phone. So there, he's opening the door. There's the Twitter logo. Then you screenshot whatever the hell you want. Like, why in the world is this on Twitter? And then it's him leaving immediately.
Oh, gotcha.
So I use that on the Twitter.
Yeah, no,
machine.
he was like the
he raised
original
Cat Dog.
He was the original roast master for like 90s kids, because I mean he
Is it voiced by Jeffrey Ross?
What?
Was he voiced by Jeffrey Ross?
I don't believe so.
It would have made it better.
It would have made it just a tad bit better. But like the other day, I was just kind of randomly thinking about random thoughts, and Rancid Rabbit popped into my head, and that's the mayor of the town that Cat Dog sat in.
Yeah, I bet he's stupid because that show's stupid because you liked it.
You watched a lot more Cat Dog than I did.
I said,
remember one episode, and it was the episode. They obviously they're connected at each end.
Right.
They share a stomach, but and whatever the one ate actually affected the other one's teeth. So like Cat took care of its.
So it just was the precursor to the human centipede.
Yeah,
as Cat Dog.
So like Cat always like brushed his teeth like really well, and Dog ate like trash. But they went to the dentist in this episode, and the dog had perfect teeth, and the cat had like all these cavities. And then come to find out that like for whatever reason, whatever the dog was eating was affecting the teeth on the cat. And it was a whole debacle, and they both just ended up eating a bunch of garbage and destroying each other's teeth. And I don't know, like, what the learning experience in that episode was, but that's the only episode that I remember. Right. But that's the only episode of Cat Dog I remember.
So Zach's number 5 is Cat Dog. Don, number 5 on your list.
Number 5 on my list, created in the year 1997, The Angry Beavers. Angry Beavers.
I guess I didn't expect you to sing me the theme song. What was it about the Angry Beavers that you enjoyed?
So Dag and Norbert, 2 brothers that lived together. I got to figure out which one was which because it's been roughly 20 years since I've seen an episode of Angry Beaver.
Since you've even thought about Angry Beaver?
Well, no, I think of Dag and Norbert.
Is the yellow one.
Is the yeller one, yep. And he's much more proper. Dagger is like the crazy, off-the-wall character. Honestly, it's one of those that I can't really tell you why I loved it, because it was stupid. There was never any, like,
rhyme or reason to any of their
point
shenanigans?
to anything that they were doing, except for now I know from that show the beavers have to chew wood in order to keep their teeth from growing. So like they like dull their teeth on all this wood.
Mm-hmm.
And there was an episode where they refused to eat wood, and like their teeth grew like ram horns and was like a danger to them. And so I guess it taught me about wildlife and nature and how beavers operate.
I think that's a bit of a stretch.
Okay. It taught me that beavers chew wood to dull their teeth.
I'll accept
Wear
that
them
answer.
down.
So we got Zach. What was your number 5? I forget already.
Cat Dog.
Oh, Cat Dog. Stupid Cat Dog. Dumbest cartoon ever created. And then the Angry Beavers. Zach, you're probably gonna. I would doubt you have this on your list because you probably hated it because I liked it. So this came out back when I was just a young pup, and I thought like the X Games was the coolest thing ever. I got Rocket Power at number 5.
Boogity, boogity, boogity,
Like,
boogity.
Did that come out in the 90s?
Oh yeah.
Yes, it did.
Oh, you better believe.
I thought that was early 2000s. Okay. I didn't have anything against Rocket Power. I just...
The dad was cool AF.
Yeah, Raymundo was pretty sweet.
Was
there's no two ways about that.
The baddest man on the planet.
I mean,
like,
he wore a green bucket hat. Like, if that just says,
He
do
was
not mess
chill.
with Raymundo.
He was chill AF. Otto Rocket was
He's
like...
very 90s.
Cool.
Right.
like if you walked into a bar and saw a guy dressed like Raymundo or Rocket, you'd be like, what the hell is this guy's problem?
No, you knew that dude was getting like Cheetos and a Yoo-hoo.
It looks like Boomhauer if Boomhauer had kids.
He is the human version of Crush the Turtle from Finding Nemo. Like, that is exactly what he is. He was so, like, that dude blitzed every brain cell he ever had way before Otto and Reggie Rocket were born. And he was the coolest. And so I really liked Rocket Power, the whole, bikes and rollerblades and skateboards and all that stuff. I was into that stuff as a young pup. And so I got Rocket Power at number 5 on my list. Donna, number 4 on your favorite NickToons from the 90s.
NickToons from the 90s. Number 4 is the Wild Thornberries.
You know what? Earlier, I don't have anything on my honorable mention list. I should have the Wild Thornberries on my honorable mention.
The Wild Thornberries are so good.
Nigel Thornberry.
They lived in a Humvee, which I always wanted as a kid. And I don't even think, like, it's like a military vehicle, but they treated it like it was a
it was a passenger van.
Right.
Like it was a minivan.
Like it was a Fleetwood RV that they're taking across the world.
That they could do everything in.
Right.
Whatever
And it had,
you needed
Oh, yeah, it was
to do.
Inspector Gadget's.
Yes.
Inspector Gadget's Humvee.
So, again, nature, learned what a capybara was in that. That stuck with me because there's an episode where they are in the jungle and they're eating all this meat. It might have been the pilot. I'm not 100% sure. But Nigel like finds all this hamburger, and the older sister comes out and she's like, "Oh my gosh, hamburger! I haven't had this in forever. Where'd you get that?" "Oh, it's capybara burger." "What's a capybara?" And he like points over, and it's this rat that's the size of like a small pig, and that freaks everybody out. But everything about it, her talking with animals, going to the watering hole, and like talking with the baby cheetah, and then the mom cheetah tries to kill her. Like it's now that I'm talking about it, I'm thinking of more and more episodes, and I should probably have it higher on my list, but it's stuck at 4 now.
It was one I honestly almost forgot about. That it was solid. So Nigel Thornberry was voiced by Tim Curry, who was in Home Alone, in Rocky Horror Picture Show.
He was a butler in Clue.
I knew you were going to say that because what was he? What were we talking about one day? And you said, "Is that or you mean the butler from Clue?" And I was like, "Of all the roles Tim Curry has played, I can't believe you just busted out the butler from Clue." But so Nigel Thornberry was Tim Curry. Lacey Chabert was Eliza Thornberry, which I don't know if you guys remember. She was the original Meg Griffin on Family Guy before they had Mila Kunis. And then Donnie, the like little feral boy that they picked up along the way, was voiced by Flea from the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
I did know that.
So that voice cast is outstanding. I think I don't know if the Wild Thornberries ever crossed my mind. So that should be. I'm going to add that to my honorable mention that I did not have the Wild Thornberries. That's a solid call there, Don. Zach, number 4 on your list. What is it?
Number 4 on my list is SpongeBob SquarePants. Just because I didn't enjoy it as much as a kid as I should have. It came out, I think, in like 98, 99.
It was like May 1999.
Yeah, so like it
just
barely
makes the list.
Makes the list, meets our criteria. And at that point, I'm 8 or 9, and I don't know. At that point, I was like, maybe I shouldn't watch cartoons as much as I should, and so I didn't really give SpongeBob the chance that it deserved. And then, kind of the older I got, the more I was like, well, everybody else still watches SpongeBob. It's fine. I mean, it's still on the air, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
So it's got some serious longevity. The memes that have come out from SpongeBob in the last couple
years. The
memes
are the best part of SpongeBob at this point.
Like it's a bunch of sad late 20, early 30-year-olds reminiscing of a simpler time.
Okay, well now it feels like you're just attacking me.
But there's so many great characters. They all have wonderful motivations. Like, I mean, Plankton is literally just trying to put a rival business out of business because the chum bucket sucks. Everybody knows it. But if he can just get that Krabby Patty formula, he's going to make $1 million and move out of Bikini Bottom.
I'm Team Chum Bucket, honestly.
Gross. You should be ashamed of yourself.
We got the Wild Thornberries. We've got SpongeBob SquarePants. My number 4 is, and before I name my number 4, I think we all had excruciatingly difficult choices, like 1 through 3.
So my
1 through 3 was really difficult.
My 1 was very clear. My 2 and 3 are interchangeable, and then like my 4, 5, and my honorable mention are like interchangeable. With each other,
depending on the mood.
Like it's a clear 2, 3, a clear 4, 5, 6, and 1 was definite.
There's one reason my number 4 is above my number 5, and that is just straight up Australian accents. I loved Rocco's Modern Life as a kid. Like, he's a wallaby. That's a horrible Australian accent, but he's a wallaby. I loved Rocco's Modern Life. I couldn't tell you an episode, 25 years later. But it was great back then, man. It was so awesome. And it probably was just literally the accent. But I loved me some Rocco's Modern Life.
I can't remember a single episode of Rocco's Modern Life. I always watched it because it was in between 2 cartoons that I actually wanted to watch. I hated Rocco's Modern Life as a kid.
Really?
Now, I've appreciated it a little bit more as I've grown older because, like, he worked for a sex phone line company. And there's...
It had a great theme song. Rocco's Modern Life. Rocco's Modern Life. Like, it was great. It was the best theme song. Of my shows, I think, you know what? It didn't have the best theme song. There were some badass theme songs though, and we'll probably talk about that later. But like even the Rocket Power theme song, which wasn't even good, was pretty good.
It was intense at the very least. At the very least,
Rocket Power.
It got you pumped.
Rocket Power. So I got Rocko's Modern Life at number 4. Number 3 on our top 5 90s NickToons. Zach?
My number 3 pick is Hey Arnold. That was, I mean, it
was that a sharp inhale, Don?
It was a sharp inhale. Sorry. Please continue. I will hold.
I will hold the remaining sharp inhales until you explain yourself.
I wanted Hey Arnold to be higher. I really did. I just the two I have ahead of it, it didn't make the cut. I absolutely love Hey Arnold. I mean, who didn't want to have a room like Hey Arnold's room?
Well, it was a great. I mean, it was.
He had a couch
like the retractable dome.
Right, like he had a couch that flipped out of the wall. He had a ladder up to the roof.
He had a remote control that controlled everything.
Yeah,
like a TV remote that just did everything in his room.
Took care of everything. Like, no matter how complicated the story of Arnold's life got, and I mean it got complicated because I mean his parents were MIA and he lived with his grandparents and all of the assorted folks who lived in the boarding home with him. Like there was always a lesson to be learned. Plus, Hey Arnold had probably one of the best guest stars of all time.
Stoop Kid?
No.
Stoop Kid's a recurring character.
Yeah, he's a recurring character. Guest star.
One episode and the movie.
Right. Randy Travis, country singer Randy Travis was on an episode of Hey Arnold with the best fake name of all time. His name on the show was Travis Randall.
I'm sorry. The only thing I can sit here and think about is Rocko's Modern Life. Rocko's Modern Life. Like you could have proposed to me or like tried to sell me stock in the last 3 minutes, and I'm not paying attention because Rocko's Modern Life.
We've moved on.
So
you might have.
I'm gonna work through my deep inhale onwards.
Okay.
So my deep inhale, though it coincided with Hey Arnold, had nothing to do with Hey Arnold. I freaked out because I thought I left Dexter's Lab off the list, but that's Cartoon Network.
That's Cartoon Network.
So
Dexter's Laboratory is Cartoon Network.
Simultaneously, I completely forgot about Hey Arnold, which I'm now. If I could deep inhale again, I would do it. God, it was so good. Stoop Kid was my favorite episode. The spelling bee, the food eating
Kid's
contest.
afraid to leave Stoop.
I was still when we're cooking.
Yeah, except you are Stoop Kid now. You've been in this room since March 18th.
Hey, we're doing well. I'm not afraid to leave Stoop.
When we're cooking in the kitchen, following directions. If I ever see TSP when they were trying to build the world's largest pizza to set the Guinness Book of World Record, they're like.
It's like tons.
He put 10 square pounds of baking soda into this pizza pizza, and we're like, what did you think TSP stood for? It's 10 square pounds. But one of my favorite theories about cartoons, I'm a conspiracy theory nut, is about Hey Arnold.
Will be a podcast at some point as we're going to rank our conspiracy theories.
One of my favorites is Hey Arnold. His grandparents were actually his parents, and they had him at such an advanced age that that's where all of his deformation comes from and all that stuff, and why his parents don't have anything to do with it.
So Arnold has
90-year-old parents, and
so
that's why he has a football head.
Okay.
Well,
there's a lot more to it than that, but
that's
I'll
the
just
Spark Notes version of
that's the Spark
of
Notes.
The Hey Arnold conspiracy.
Look it up.
Well, They just did the Hey Arnold Jungle movie. Came out like last year-ish, and it kind of ties up the overall series.
That's just because the creator didn't like the theory.
Probably, but it was nice to see Hey Arnold and the gang again 20 years later.
So the number 3 for Zach is Hey Arnold. Don, who completely forgot Hey Arnold existed until about 3.5 minutes ago. Don, what is your number 3?
Number 3 on my list, Rocket Power. Woogity woogity woogity.
It's a good show, yeah.
I think that I didn't want to, but I think I related the most to Squid when I was a kid.
What was the name of the weird kid that moved into the neighborhood from like Oklahoma or whatever?
I think it was Squid.
Yeah, that was Squid.
The short, fat, white kid.
So who was the other kid that I'm thinking of? Yeah, there we go.
Twister was
Squid. Right, so Squid was the kid who had to film everything because he wasn't good enough to skate.
And Twister was Josh Fisher, just off the walls, crazy about everything.
our cousin, my brother and I's cousin, and our friend Josh is. Yeah, there's a lot of truth to that.
Yeah, that's a fairly accurate statement.
But I always, his real name was Sam. I think, related the most with him. And
Squid.
With Squid, even though I didn't want to. But really, for all the reasons you said, Rocket Power is just money, and to this day, me and Reese, who was on our second episode, will still wiggity 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 at least once whenever we hang out together.
So Zach had I don't remember what your number 3 was anymore.
Arnold.
Hey Arnold, Rocco's Modern Life, and then Don dropping Rocket Power at number 3. My number 3, and like I said, I have had trouble between 3, 2, and 1, and I feel like you guys might have this in your top 2. I have Doug at number 3. So I Don guarding a sharpened nail. I have Doug at number 3. I think like Skeeter Valentine is the greatest name in like cartoon history. It just rolls off the tongue. I have no idea how Skeeter Valentine rolls off your tongue, but it does. And
so does Patty Mayonnaise.
Patty Mayonnaise was. I was getting to Patty Mayonnaise. She. Do you guys know the hippie chick from Orange Is the New Black?
Yeah,
she was the voice of Patty Mayonnaise back
clearly.
in the day.
I haven't watched.
Orange
Is the New Black since episode 1.
TNB. I haven't finished any of the seasons since like season 2. It got crazy, but she was the voice of Patty Mayonnaise. And one of my favorite episodes of Doug was the where he practiced. He accidentally kicked field goals during gym class.
Yes,
and he was not good at all. And the football coach saw him and put him in a game. He's like, "This is our special weapon."
And the shoe went further than the ball.
Yeah, and the shoe went further than the ball. Also, the band, the Beats, instead of the Beatles. Oh, killer tofu. E-I. Oh, killer tofu. So
this is our first musical podcast.
Yeah. I loved the Beats. They were great. And Doug
were they recurring?
Won, oh yeah, Doug won tickets to see the Beats because he called into the radio station and they were like, "What's the name of this song?" And he's like, "I don't know, Beats Me." And they're like, "That's right, it is Beats Me." So that like I feel like you guys probably got Doug higher. But I got Doug at 3. Like I said, 3, 2, 1 was really tough. I think maybe we all agree on number 1. I don't know, but 3, 2, 1 was hard for me.
Well, go ahead, Don.
Roger Klotz was a solid villain.
Hated Roger Klotz. Yep.
There's 2 episodes that I keep thinking of. I remember the field goal kicking episode. You remember the liver and onions episode?
Yes.
Made me want to try liver and onions because like it was a whole episode build up to him eating liver and onions, and I think he tried it and he was like, "Well, that's not terrible." But he was like eating literal trash up to that point to train himself to eat it. But then he was having like night terrors about eating it. The other one was when they went hunting for that random. It was almost like
the nematode.
The nematode.
Oh yes.
That being said, Doug was very similar to Rocco's Modern Life for me, in which I did not watch it. I didn't like it.
Really?
And it was just on in between shows that I actually wanted to watch.
The theme song for Doug
is the best.
It was great. The opening theme, and then he comes in, and I don't know what his dog's name was. I can't remember.
Pork Chop.
That's right. Of course, you remember that, Zach.
Yeah, well.
Heart attack Zach over there, remembering Pork Chop. No, you're right. His dog was named Pork Chop. I mean,
his hipster sister.
It's been 25 years, and we all still...
Judy, I believe. Yeah, I believe her name was Judy.
Judy Funny?
Yeah, but she was...
Yeah, we didn't even mention his name. His name was Doug Funny.
Yeah. I had Doug in my honorable mention.
Really? So I figured you guys might have Doug
The only reason that Doug did not make the top 5
is because it's trash.
No, you shut your mouth.
Unfunny?
Quit
Now,
mocking.
that being said, I still remember it, and I didn't even like it.
No, the only reason that Doug didn't make the top 5 is only like the first 3 seasons were on Nick. They actually sold it to Disney for the last 4 seasons.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, the production value just skyrocketed.
Did you know that, or did you
I
find that
knew
out
that.
on Google?
I actually knew that.
The good stuff was on Nickelodeon.
Right, but the production value, it was much better animated. But the stories,
I don't care about. I thought James and the Giant Peach was live action at that point in my life. I didn't care about animation.
Well, I'll just say I love Doug, but just it. Like I said, more than half of the show was not on Nickelodeon, so it made the honorable mention list, but not the top 5.
Okay, well, those 3 seasons are top 3 NickToons of all time for me. So that is my number 3. Zach, you're number 2, which we're getting to the nitty gritty here.
My number 2 is Rugrats.
You're an idiot. I'm sorry.
Save that for the post show.
No, we'll save the NSFW for the post show. You're dumb. You're stupid. Text and drive. I cannot believe. Okay, you say your piece.
Okay.
I can't even speak to you right now.
I can't believe that you guys share the same mother.
I can't believe we're the same species after that stupid statement. Go.
For a show about a group of babies, it really had some just good quality humor. It had great, fun little Easter eggs. The writers of the show were big fans of Doctor Who, which is one of the most popular television shows in the history of television. It was on.
Yeah, if your teeth are messed up.
But I mean, there's all sorts.
That's not fair. That's not fair.
There's all sorts of Easter eggs for Doctor Who. It hit on every level for me. I apparently am wrong.
Oh yeah.
I seem to get that a lot.
It's not that you're wrong; it's that you're dumb. That's me.
Right. You can
be wrong. I will allow you to be wrong.
Okay. Well, this is
all I'm saying is that you better be able to defend your number one.
I was going to say, I know your number 1's stupid. I know your number 1's dumb. So Rugrats number 2 for Zach. Don, how about you?
Number 2 on mine is SpongeBob SquarePants. For the memes, for the runtime. I mean, SpongeBob is probably. I mean, it's still running, and
right.
And it's probably there was a break for 5-6 years, whatever it is, and it might be terrible for kids to watch. I know my sister didn't let my nephew watch it when he was a kid because she read a study where it rots their brain or whatever. But
who'd have thunk it? Cartoons.
Well, because there is zero learning experience in SpongeBob. There's no moral conundrum at the end or anything like that. It's about making patties and catching jellyfish and Schmitty Warberman Jensen, who was number 1. The hash slinging slasher.
that episode where they just straight up tried to murder the health inspector.
The episode where they tried to Ratatouille the health inspector.
Jeez, now that you've seen Ratatouille.
Now that I've seen Ratatouille, I mean it was almost perfect. The halftime show at the Super Bowl that Maroon 5
victory
NSFW'd us on. So I mean I love SpongeBob. I'll still watch some today. Still share the memes. I'm all about it.
Yeah, the memes are great. I honestly, when I sat down and put my list together, I didn't feel like it was 1999 when that came out. It felt like 2002, 2003. But no,
because I was still watching it in high school.
It was 1999. So I don't have SpongeBob on my list because I wasn't going to make room for. It's probably better. So Don's got SpongeBob number 2. Zach's got Rugrats at number 2. He's wrong. I got Hey Arnold at number 2. Helga Pataki makes that show.
Oh, sure.
Like, we didn't talk about her when it was previously brought up. Helga Pataki is the reason that show's great. Like, she's such a jerk to Arnold. And then, she's got that secret bubblegum shrine to him in her closet that she makes out with. She's got a straight up unibrow. There was that kid that she always punched in the face.
Full on cold cocktail.
Both that kid and Phoebe were in love with her.
Fact.
And she
Phoebe was our generation's Peppermint, or the girl who ran around with Peppermint Patty. What was her name from Charlie Brown? That was like low key in love with Peppermint Patty.
You mean the Peanuts?
Yeah.
Yeah, I still don't know. Pigpen?
No, there was a little girl. There was a little girl who ran around.
Linus's? Oh, that loved Linus?
No,
Charlie's
she
sister?
loved.
no, she loved Peppermint Patty.
She's a low key.
Oh, the therapist. Oh, yes, sir.
Yes, that wasn't the therapist, but yes, because Lucy was the therapist.
Okay, well, I had cable as a kid, so I didn't have to watch PBS.
Charlie Brown was not on PBS.
Well, I wouldn't know because I didn't have PBS. I didn't have to watch PBS.
So you had PBS.
I've got Hey Arnold at number 2 because Helga Pataki makes that show. And also, before we name our honorable mention lists,
the girl who pulled the football?
That was still Lucy.
Oh, well, I don't know what's going on.
Stoop Kid is afraid to leave his stoop, which is just like, it's the easiest thing to chant ever. You wake up in the middle of the night, Stoop Kid's afraid to leave his stoop.
And you could chant that anywhere.
Yeah, no matter what.
I might try it at like a college football game
And people will join
fall.
you.
If there are college football games that I can attend this fall, I'm going to try and start a Stoop Kid chant.
Even if you're at Texas Roadhouse, you get a good bite of steak. Stoop Kid's afraid to leave his stoop. Stoop Kid's afraid to leave his stoop. And people will join in. It's sort of like if you just start singing Living on a Prayer in a park. By the time you get to the, oh, we're halfway there, everybody in that park is, oh, they're going to join you.
I love this song. And I love when amateurs sing it.
That's a whole different other song.
It's Don't Stop Believing.
So those are our number 2s. Before we get to our number 1s, which we already know Zach's is dumb, what is your honorable mentions?
Zach, we already heard one of yours. What's your other one?
My other one was Real Monsters.
See, I don't remember. Like, I saw it as a list of 90s cartoons, and I don't really remember a whole lot of it.
See, I don't remember a whole lot, but I just remember I really liked it. And so, for that reason, it made the honorable mention list. Just because I think it's... I remember it being... I don't want to say this like how I'm going to say it because I'm going to sound like I was pretentious, like 10-year-old, 5-year-old. But... like, I just remember it being an underrated show that, like, no other kids that I went to school with were like, yeah, I really like Real Monsters.
It was made in 94.
Okay.
Also, my honorable mention is Real Monsters.
All right. I don't feel so bad
I loved Icarus, or Ickis. And then the walking stick lady who was, I have IMDb pulled up here, full disclosure, is Oklina, because I could not think of her. But then Crumb was the dude who had to hold his eyeballs and just like his scary power, other than being a monster who didn't have eye sockets and had to hold his eyeballs. Like he was super like smelly, and that's what he would use like every episode to solve whatever issue they were coming up against. He could roll his eyes under doors and look under doors.
And then he got to he caught the golden snitch to have Hungary beat Ireland in the Quidditch World Cup, and then he took Hermione Granger to the ball.
Nope, that's Victor Crumb.
Oh, okay.
That's a different Crumb.
Different Crumb. Gotcha.
I think that's that Crumb's son.
I would say, is there a conspiracy theory that those two are the same guy?
I can look it up. I'm not 100% sure.
If not, Don's going to make one.
We can start one right now.
Tell your friends. Tell your friends. So I didn't have a
also had that
mention.
on Sega Genesis. It was amazing.
Real Monsters on Sega Genesis?
If not Sega Genesis, Super Nintendo. It's right in that time frame, 94, 97.
Gotcha. I didn't have an honorable mention until Don mentioned the Wild Thornberries, and I was like, oh, you know what? That's actually a pretty solid honorable mention. That was a pretty solid show. So those are our honorable mentions. We are now to the point of our number 1 Nickelodeon NickToons from the 1990s. Don, I will let you go first.
Okay, number 1 is the only real answer that you can have here, and be correct, and that is Rugrats.
Right.
Tommy Pickles.
Tommy Pickles.
Dill Pickles.
Dill Pickles.
Chucky
Finster. Chucky Finster, who couldn't go to the big boy potty.
He could not go
to the big boy potty.
Angelica Pickles, the greatest antagonist in the 90s. Get out of here, diehard bad guys.
You got nothing on Angelica.
Get out of here. Other random bad guy from the night. Lethal Weapon bad guys.
It's been revoked.
Get out of here, England from Braveheart. Or England from The Patriot. That might be 2000.
We'll
or
look up.
England throughout all of history.
Right. And then you have the twins.
Phil and Lil.
Phil and Lil.
Phil and Lil.
Phil and Lil.
The Patriot was 2000.
Reptar.
Reptar. I wanted to mention Reptar when I was talking about Rugrats, but I figured I was getting
verbally abused because you were an idiot.
Verbally abused because I figured you guys were like, yeah, Rugrats was stupid.
What was Angelica's Barbie doll?
Cynthia.
Yeah.
The most terrifying Barbie doll I've ever seen in my life. Like, it looks like that Barbie. If that Barbie doll was in Sid's room in Toy Story, it would be the scariest toy in his room.
Just by itself.
Right.
No modifications, no Erectiset mods, just straight up that weird, stupid haircut that looked like Britney Spears about halfway through her mental breakdown.
I was in New Jersey in December and was at a mall, and they had Reptar bars for sale. And
did they turn your tongue green?
They turned my tongue green.
Oh my god!
They were essentially Hershey bars with green goo in the middle, and they were mostly green goo because if they didn't turn my tongue green, I was going back to complain. I was going to go full on Karen.
Can I speak to your manager, please? Yeah, what seems to be the problem?
The poor kid working.
This Reptar, yeah. What is this song? Does this look green to you?
I'm going to complain to that poor kid working at the FYE at the Cherry Hill Mall in New Jersey. Also, Rugrats.
Straight up, Stu Pickles is hilarious. Like, that dude, Tommy's dad, was so horribly depressed.
Not so hilarious when you find out why he was
Oh
depressed.
my God. We're not doing the Tommy Pickles. No, absolutely not.
Tommy Pickles was a stillborn baby.
We're not doing this.
He was a stillborn.
No, he was not. Stu Pickles was horribly depressed, was a failure as a complete adult, and it was hilarious.
That's why he spent so much time making toys.
Because it's so
for
relatable.
A kid that he never had.
Oh my God. Tommy Pickles is real. So obviously I have Rugrats as my number 1 because it's the only right answer as number 1.
I can't believe I got that much crap for it being number 2.
Rugrats is the OG NickToon.
I believe it
not
is.
About
actually.
No, I'm not being hyperbolic. It is the OG NickToon.
I'm going to say something not about a conspiracy theory. Best crossover all time, Rugrats Gone Wild with the Wild Thornberrys.
It's solid. The Rugrats movie is even good, and it was in that. It was on that orange plastic VHS. Rugrats in Paris was actually good. So Rugrats, solid number 1. So that is my number 1. Obviously, Zach, regale us with your moronic number 1.
My number 1 pick was Rocko's Modern Life.
You're an idiot,
right?
Well. Like you said, Rocco worked at a sex line, which was just hilarious. Sheldon's love interest was Dr. Bendova. It was just subtle, nuanced humor that you didn't get as a child, but you watch it again as an adult. You're like, oh my God, this is terrible, and I love it. Really, really big man.
You overthought it.
I guess I did, because
there's only one.
Immediately when I was putting this list together, I was like, number 1, Rocko's Modern Life.
This is the picture I was trying to find. So it's a picture of him.
This is a podcast.
I know. I'm going to describe the picture. It's him on the phone in the back at work. In the background, you see one-on-one hotline, and then there's like some little pointers he has taped to his cubicle. Remember, be hot, be naughty, be curious.
I
Courteous. But I also like
I
curious.
was going to say, be curious. I don't know. What are you wearing?
This was the 90s, okay?
I just love in like the episode where they show him at work. He's just like saying into the phone, "Oh baby, oh baby, oh baby, oh baby," over and over again. And they're like, "Yeah, that works."
I mean, I appreciate Rocko's Modern Life. It's great. But it sure as hell ain't better than Rugrats. So I'm sorry. I apologize to my mother for not helping raise a better son than what he has turned out to be. You've brought great shame to this family, and I'm not sure if we can ever get past this. I'm mostly kidding. So the official, if we run down our lists, Don had Angry Beavers at number 5, Wild Thornberries at number 4, Rocket Power at 3, SpongeBob SquarePants at 2, and Rugrats at number 1. Zach had Cat Dog at 5, SpongeBob SquarePants at 4, Hey Arnold at 3, Rugrats at 2, Rocko's Modern Life at number 1. And I had Rocket Power number 5, Rocko's Modern Life number 4, Doug number 3, number 2 was Hey Arnold, and number 1 was Rugrats. So producer Ashley has put together our list of our top 5 official RankEmPodcast 90s NickToons. Number 5 was Doug. Number 4 was Rocket Power. Number 3 was SpongeBob SquarePants. Number 2 was a tie for Hey Arnold and Rocko's Modern Life. And number 1 was the obvious choice, Rugrats. Any other thoughts?
Yeah, you can definitely tell that you guys lived in the same house and watched the same TV shows, because 3 things that I didn't have on my list at all are in you guys' top, or is in the conglomerate of top 5.
Yeah, so you have Angry Beavers at number 5. Zach and I didn't have Angry Beavers. You have Wild Thornberries at number 4. We didn't have Wild Thornberries.
Though you regret not having Wild Thornberries.
I wouldn't have changed my list.
I do regret Hey Arnold. I would have bumped Hey Arnold up somewhere in my list.
So that is our official RankEmPodcast. Again, I'm Garrett Seawright, joined with my younger brother Zach and Don Garwood here on the RankEmPodcast. Give us a like, give us a thumbs up, like and subscribe on YouTube. Download our stuff on Spotify, all the major podcasts, wherever you get them. Download us and keep us locked on as we continue to count down the most mundane and ridiculous topics every week here on the RankEmPodcast. Zach, thanks for joining us again this week.
Thanks for having me.
And Don, appreciate your time this week as well.
Absolutely.
So be sure to listen to our reaction show where we're just going to verbally berate Zach for several minutes.
I'm going to talk about theories.
Okay, we can talk about the conspiracy theories during the reaction show, but you'll be able to find that on the RankEmPodcast, wherever you get your podcasts as well. Thanks for joining us again this week. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and catch us next time on the RankEmPodcast.